My goodness! Now he's got the back now! That's it! He's got the check!
What's up guys, Sal here. So do you wonder how smartphones of our future will look like? What features will these devices have in 20, 30 or even 50 years? If I say we could have a smartphone where you could control it with your mind, or a device with which you can see 3D holographic of people or object to a point where it's impossible to distinguish between what's real and what's holographic, you would call me crazy if I say we could have devices like that in the next couple of decades. I totally understand it all sounds like science fiction today, but if you told me back in 1999 what these devices we have now would be capable of in around 20 years, I'd call you crazy too. Back then, no one could have predicted the impact the smartphones would have on our lives. It would have sounded like science fiction too. So let's not underestimate what the future smartphones are capable of. But let's not go too much into the future. Let's only talk about the next 5 years, otherwise you're gonna say I'm on to something. We have a few interesting patents that showcase how Samsung is gonna take the smartphone design to a whole new level. Listen, companies file for patents almost all the time. Just because they were granted a patent doesn't mean the product will be commercialized. But I strongly believe that the patent that Samsung filed will be made into an actual product in the next 5 years or even less. Of course, with that being said, you might wonder what will happen once we achieve a full screen smartphone with the camera hidden underneath the display. Oppo and Xiaomi have already showcased a working prototype of such a smartphone, so we can expect the mainstream big brands to come up with this type of smartphone in the next couple of years. But what after that? How they're gonna evolve the design once they go full screen at the front? Well, Samsung has an answer for that. They have filed a patent for a smartphone which will have a curved screen all over the phone, not just at the sides. I know what some of you are thinking. Accidental touches. I know accidental touches on the curved screens are a pain in the butt, but Samsung can just prevent that with software. I made a video on this topic already about how to prevent accidental touches. I'll leave that in the description box below. That said, will curving the display on top and bottom provide us with any functional feature? No, absolutely not, other than the fact that it looks good. And that's what the average consumer base cares about, the looks. And that's how these companies stay relevant, by listening to the average consumer. I know some of you hate this concept already, but it is what they need to do in order to stay in the game. The design is the biggest factor in a smartphone, and they need to keep evolving the design if they want to keep selling the devices. I personally love this idea. I'm a sucker for good-looking devices. I love curved displays, and the possibility that we could have a device like this in the future gives me goosebumps. And in return, if I would have to deal with some accidental touches, then it's a very small price to pay. Samsung also has rollable displays in its arsenal, a device which can turn from the Galaxy S8 into the Xperia 1 with a push of a button. This is the next phase of foldable technology. I guess let's not talk about this too much. Let them first figure out how to properly make the first generation of foldable smartphones, then we can talk about the next. Of course, that being said, thank you so much for 400,000 subscribers. It still feels amazing to see a new digit on the left. I'm so grateful that we have built such a lovely community like this, and I hope you keep supporting the channel for years to come. That being said, thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.